Broadcasting from the Keep Moving Forward Creator Studios, it's time for the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. This limited release show features the stories of the 2019 contestants of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's athletic competition, NBC's The Titan Games. Now here's your host, Katie Galley.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. I'm your host, Katie Galley. In the Keep Moving Forward Creator Studio with me today, I have Titan Games athlete, owner of Predation CrossFit, and professional timber sports athlete, Erin Lavoie. How are you doing, Erin?
Hi, good morning. I'm great.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me today and share your story.
Definitely.
So just to kick us off, I want to ask, where did you grow up and how, if at all, was your childhood shaped by athletics?
Spokane, Washington is where I grew up, and I was in the middle of two boys. Mom and dad divorced when we were young, so we kind of leaned on each other and hung out with each other. You grow up in between two boys, they kind of, you're their buddy. You do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Didn't have any sisters, so it wasn't like I got into hair, makeup, and dresses too much. We ran around in the swamps. My brothers were a little bit into sports in the beginning, not so much after like grade school, but I really grabbed onto it and I fell in love with competition and basically just moving my body, running, throwing, jumping, leaping. I think that my mom always told me too that I had a lot of really bad asthma growing up and a couple, like a heart murmur and a couple of issues there. Nothing that didn't bother me, but it held me back in some athletics. And I remember she always tells me that the doctors told me I couldn't do sports. And from then on, I was like, well, oh yeah, watch this. So I don't know where that came from. It happened and I'm sure glad it did. And I guess that just motivated me to do what people tell me I can't. A little bit stubborn. And
Yeah.
who knows, but it's been fun. And I've had a good role at everything I've done. I was the only girl in a baseball league for a couple of years. The only girl playing soccer on the field with my brothers for a couple of years. I tried out for a football team, and that was fun until Mom found out, and she was like, "That's a little bit too rough, sweetheart." So I had to step back a little bit there, but I've just always been into sports, and I've just for it, just an absolute love for being on a team or even not being on a team. Just always been training and working hard and working towards something.
Yeah. I love that. And it's having that mentality of proving people wrong and knowing that you are capable of doing something, even if someone might think that you're not able to, and just being kind of born with that. Like you say, you don't really know where it came from, but you had it. It was that innate ability to push forward and never give up until you actually achieved what you set out to do. And so with that mentality and this love of all sports, did you gravitate towards one sport in particular, or was it just you played all kinds of sports, all manner of sports, all the way up through your high school years?
I did every sport I could. It just, if it was in front of me, I just did it. It wasn't like, oh, I really like soccer, or I really like volleyball. It was something that I was looking at. It was an opportunity, and I love opportunities. So I just was like, oh, cool, that looks fun. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Until the next one came around. I really loved gymnastics. So I did that when I was younger, and then again in middle school and high school. And I loved moving my body, and I loved the training and the growth I got out of it. But after high school, there wasn't anything to do with it anymore unless you go to club, and that's just ridiculously expensive and time consuming for what my life allowed at the moment. So I quit that, and then I remember going into college, and they had a lumberjack team there. So that's when I picked up lumberjack sports. It was the first time I picked up an axe and chopped in between my feet. It was crazy, but so it was just, that was the next opportunity that was dangled in front of me, and I took it. And that's what I've been doing probably the majority of my life, about the last 15 years. So I guess that would be my number one sport.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a lot of travel and a lot of training and hard work and a lot of winning. It's been really, really great.
So I'm pretty sure we can gather what lumberjack sports mean in the title, but can you explain a little bit about what being a lumberjack athlete means and what goes into it and what exactly you are competing for.
It is so logging. It comes from logging. And
Okay.
with anything in life, I think that there's just competition. People are competitive. Man will die for points. You just want to be the best at things, at everything. So
Yeah.
I imagine back in the logging camps a long, long time ago, it was, hey, I bet I can throw an axe closer to that target than you can. Or I can chop through this log faster than you can, or saw or climb or whatever. And slowly and surely over time, it turned into a professional sport. So nowadays, I don't see very many loggers doing the sport. It's very hard work, and those people, they're pretty beat up. I still see them at local competitions, but on the more big stage professional level, it's your normal average people. There's lawyers, doctors, gym owners. Um, and that's just it just turned into a sport, and now it is the same as back then. We just do it with better looking clothes and better looking shoes, and we chop logs for time, saw through logs for time with a crosscut saw or a chainsaw, climb
Wow.
poles, run on logs in the water, bunch of different things. It's sort of similar to a rodeo, I guess, where you go to a rodeo and you see so many different events with that rodeo aspect, the animals and the people. Same thing, just with wood.
Wow. And so, I mean, finding this new sport and really getting involved in it, why did it pique your interest so much? And why did you decide you wanted to just go all in with it?
I don't do anything half-ass really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like to be the best at everything. I can't help myself. I really just can't. And I remember I walked in one day and I was bored, and I was out of gymnastics and there was no baseball team I could go on, and so I was in school for forestry. So that's how I wandered in, because they were practicing just down the hall from my classes. I was like, oh, what's this? They practiced at 6 in the morning, and walked in. They stood me on top of a log. I swung an axe for, God, all week long. Blisters galore. And there was a competition about 5 days after I joined the team.
Wow.
And I trained, I trained super hard. I learned the ways that I could fail, and I did those first so I could get them out of the way. And then I went in to train as hard as I could. Went to the first competition, and it was a team event then, and the rules were that it was a team of 8, but you had to have 2 of the opposite sex on each team. They were lacking girls. So I was on the team, and when I went to my first competition, I placed top 5 in all of my events. So when you win, when you're successful, it's just fun.
Right.
And I went home, I'm like, God, okay, well, I'm good at this. This is cool. And then I just went to the next one, and the next one happened to be a professional competition. Um, there was a guy there, Mike Forrester. He asked me to cut with him. He was a professional at the time, and my Jack and Jill partner was like, Erin, you should take this opportunity. It's a good opportunity, and I'll try and find another partner, which was very big of him.
Yeah.
I cut with Mike Forrester and the Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill is just a guy and a girl on each end of the saw, and we cut through a log together for time. So I cut with him and went home a couple days later. My mom was like, what's this on TV, Erin? So she saw me on TV and what you doing? So it was pretty funny. It just, I think I was in the right place at the right time to be very successful at what I was doing. That you can't not do that because you're winning and it's fun.
Yeah.
So competition after competition, I just kept going, and then I was invited to championships, and then I was put onto the U.S. women's national relay team to compete in Australia. And I thought, I believe I was 20 at the time, maybe. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. So I trained super hard for that, and it just really kept rolling.
Wow. Man, that is really cool. And I mean, you're saying being in the right place at the right time and finding this new sport that really piqued your interest and you excelled at. And so just deciding, okay, this is a new opportunity. I'm going to walk through this door. But you said that you initially even found out about it because you were a forestry major in school. So what were your desires with that degree? What did you initially aspire to be?
Honestly, I had no idea. I didn't really have like a mentor saying you should look at these options. It was Big Brother, worked for the Forest Service for a year, and I thought, okay, that'd be cool. Fighting fires looks awesome. Smoke jumping is badass. And so I went to school for forestry, not keeping my options open, but fighting fires in the summer.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, this is super fun. I get to run around in the woods all summer long and put out fires. Like dream job at the time.
Right.
And then not with the family and all that, but so I just it was like just dangling in front of me, and I thought it looked fun, so I tried it.
Man.
And then I remember I was fighting fires in the summer, and then I was also trying to compete. And I went to a competition one night, and then I had to drive overnight to make it back to work the next morning. Fell asleep at the wheel, drove off the road, kind of got banged up a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
But then I was out for the summer firefighting.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm not going to sit in the office. I'm sorry guys, I'm out of here. I can't fight fires. I don't want to be in the office. So I'm going to go compete. I kind of quit it all, and I went to competitions more.
And so, man, going all in then with competition, that's awesome though. Like you said, you
go all in.
Exactly.
Right? It just, and then, so I didn't see everything in the forestry department. I kind of went back to looking into all the jobs that I could do, and it just didn't really make enough money for what I wanted my life to look like. Mm-hmm. So then I started adventuring out some more and went to school in Virginia Beach for a while, then came back, went to school again, still competing, still basing my life around how can I compete in the summers, how can I train in the winters. Then I opened a CrossFit gym. So my life really is tailored to how do I compete and how do I have summertime off.
Yeah. So chasing that, you want to compete, you want to be an athlete, you want to be surrounded by that. So it's makes sense that you would follow these paths, but then also when the opportunities come up, you just decide, all right, I'm walking through this door. And so throughout that whole time, did you know what CrossFit was? Had you already been doing CrossFit, or was it again something new that came up that you decided to just go all in on?
No, so I took a job in Virginia Beach working for Steel Chainsaws as a spokesmodel. And so I moved there. And when I moved there, I moved away from everything I knew here as far as I had a training partner here and a logger who helped me get wood. And he also worked on my equipment to keep it up to shape. When I moved there, I didn't have any of that. So I spent all of my time in a gym. I went to the gym twice a day sometimes. And then I met a guy, Chance Hughes, and he introduced me to CrossFit. And when he put me through my first workout, and it was a 25-pound kettlebell and running. I completely blacked out within a couple minutes of swinging the kettlebell. Like couldn't hear, couldn't see, had to sit down. Very scary moment of,
man,
I've been wasting some time and money. Let's do this shit. So, that's when I was like, okay, teach me more. What's a wall ball? Let's do those. And he just introduced me to CrossFit. We did it. And I got super strong so fast. And I thought, I need this in my life.
And so
that became the other heart of my life.
Yeah. I mean, that was, it seemed like you went, again, finding that thing that you wanted to try out. And even though it pushed you to a new limit that you had never been to before, almost blacking out, that made you decide, all right.
I did black out.
You did black out, like completely blacked out.
I was sold. I'm like, well, this is okay. I gotta come back and do this again.
Oh man. And then
I love those limits.
Yeah.
I love them.
And it's clear in, the journey that you've taken to date too. You push yourself constantly and you are seeking those limits. And so when you find it, that's what you're going all in on. I love that. That's so cool.
It's like a high. It's like, how do I make this happen?
Yeah. And so with that, I mean, then so bridging that gap, so you became an athlete in a gym. You wanted to compete. You wanted to learn all you could about CrossFit. So then, how did that eventually lead you to open up Predation CrossFit?
So Chance and I were together, and we went to gyms in town and just didn't like any of them. So then we thought, well, we'll just set up our garage and we'll do CrossFit in the garage. And then summertime rolls around and people see us in swimsuits and they see our bodies change and they're like, what are you doing? Can I do that? So we started inviting our friends over to the garage and we were training them and we're working out together. And then they started using our blender in our bathroom. And we're like, okay, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
Get out of my house. And I was going to school at the time, like just kind of lost, not totally knowing what I wanted to do. But I've always thought that I wanted to open a business. So Chance looked at me and he's like, what about CrossFit? What about opening a gym? 5 days later, we rented a place and started tearing it down, turning into a gym. And the two friends we had came and worked out with us. And we had a 3,000 square foot building that if it failed, we could park our trucks in it. But it slowly, one person by one person, turned into a business for me.
Wow.
And it's just been unreal.
I mean, that's so cool. You decided, all right, I want to open a gym, and 5 days later, that's what you did. You just decided, all right,
Yeah.
I'm going after it. That, I mean, and again, a testament to your life and all of these things that you're pursuing. It's just, I love that mentality, because again, you don't know when these opportunities are going to come up again, or when you can manufacture an opportunity like this that you want to pursue. So figuring out how you're going to do it, and then just, again, going all in with it.
Just doing it. Just make it happen.
Yeah.
You can either tell yourself that and not do it, or just live the lifestyle of, that looks cool, let's do that. I think it through for a hot minute, and I learned how I can fail first.
Yeah.
And then I just jump in and go.
Oh, man, that's awesome. And so with that mentality, then, how did you end up finding about the Titan Games and decide that you wanted to pursue that and go after that?
They gave me a call and they kind of told me about the show, and I, of course, was like, hell yes, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And then we went through the interview process and the combine and then the show. And I'm certainly glad. I almost turned it down. The combine happened one weekend before my world championships. So
oh, wow.
It was a super heavy decision I had to make. And one of the producers was like, Erin, you really should think this through, because I did turn it down. And I was like, okay, crap. I can make this happen. And I laid out a schedule of like training and eating and sleeping, and everything was completely programmed for the month prior, just so if one thing went wrong, I knew that I would be in trouble for my goals that summer. So I laid it all out. I looked at it and I thought, okay, well, dig in, buddy. Here, we're going to make this happen, and this is how.
And so, I mean, going about that, then just having these two opportunities on the table and knowing, well, both of them might not come up again. And so having that decision to make one or the other, and laying out that schedule. So then how did you really ultimately decide? So then did you do the combine, and were you not able to go to the championships?
No,
or how did it work?
I did both. I did the combine. I was very reserved. I absolutely couldn't get hurt. So, you just have to be smart.
Yeah.
Flew down there, make sure that I got lots of rest, ate well, did the combine, came home. 2 days later, flew out for the world championships, which I won. And then I took a deep breath. It was great.
Wow. Oh man, that's so cool. And so coming off of that win then, and just again, continuing to set yourself up for success, and you came off that win and then you had completed the combine. Then what was that waiting period like until you found out whether or not you were going to be, actually on the Titan Games?
I feel bad and amazing at the same time that I have so many awesome opportunities that I've gotten to do and that I still got to do after the combine.
Yeah.
So I was still competing and I still had these goals. So the World Championships was the following weekend. And then the weekend after that was the Steel Timber Sports Series. And that was the first time that women have gotten to be on that big stage amongst the men. So that
Wow.
was, to me, that was my biggest goal last summer. Everything I had dumped into that. And the winner won a Harley Davidson. So
Man.
I was like, okay, I want a Harley Davidson and I want to win this being the first time on this big stage. It was a huge opportunity, something that I've been waiting for about 15 years since I first knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things I was looking forward to and I was kind of more concerned about. I just had a lot going on in my life.
Yeah.
So I was training for that. I won that. And then all of the hype of that happened. And then I remember a couple of weeks later, I was like, am I on the Titan Games? I don't know. They called me one day and I was like, hey, what's going on? Do I put this on the schedule or not? And he was like, yep, we'll see you in July. It was, some people, that's their once in a lifetime opportunity to travel and compete and do something.
Yeah. And
I
then,
do it. I mean, that's my life. I
right.
do that often. I love that I got the opportunity. I love that I went. I would have been sad to sit home and watch it
Yeah.
and to have not been there.
Right.
But I'm fortunate and I've molded my life to do cool shit like that all the time.
Heck yeah. And it is so awesome. And so with all of these opportunities that do come up, Erin, I wonder then how do you decide what your next goal is going to be? You have all these goals and you have that mentality, but clearly so many opportunities do come up and it's with just time, it's very hard to say yes to all of them.
Yeah, it is cutting. I mean, up until now I've had I've kind of been a solo writer a little bit, most part of it.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. I can just go and come back.
Right.
That's what I do.
Okay.
But now looking at 36 years old, I want to work on my roots back home. So my brothers both have kids now. They're almost 2 and almost 1.5. And, I want to be around that. I want to be a part of that. And I want them to know me.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to stay home a little bit more now. So I'm looking more at is it worth it? Have I done that before? If not, then I'll look harder at it. If I have done something like that before, then I've had that ride. Is it going to pay? Is it worth my time to leave my family, my friends, and to work on this goal at home that I'm working on currently? Is it worth it?
Man. And that has to be such a difficult question to answer. I mean, you obviously at the outright, okay, you have to know what your current goal is and whether or not that aligns with it. But knowing that you have these opportunities and loving to compete and loving to say yes to things and knowing that you can push your limits in the achievement or pushing yourself to achieve one of those goals. So it is, I imagine it is very difficult though still to make that decision, even with the true north of whatever goal you have.
It sounds like it, but once you figure out that thing that you want, nothing, who cares about everything else? That's what I want and this is how to get it. So let's do this. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a decision that you're like, what do I want in my life? That was the decision-making process. And then after that, I was like, okay, this is how you do it. Go do it.
Yeah. I really like that. So knowing then, having that mental maturity to know, okay, I've set all of these goals before, but now this is the one that's guiding me. This is the one I'm going to make decisions based off of, and just knowing that. So having that at the forefront, that will very much help you in making those decisions.
Yeah. It's been, I don't know where I got that from, but it sure makes it easy. Just head down, make it happen.
Yeah. And I imagine it's your experience over time. I mean, having so many goals and achieving so many things, having all these opportunities, it's understanding that, I don't know, just having that mental maturity because of all the experiences that you've experienced, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is awesome to be at that level and to not be pulled in all the different directions. And so, Erin, just having your experience on the Titan Games, knowing that you've had so many different athletic experiences and professional experiences, I wonder what you would say your definition of a Titan is and how you believe that your experience on the Titan Games will now carry over into the rest of your life.
Definition of a Titan is just, I mean, I think not being scared, just standing up and doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Or what you want to do. It's pretty straightforward. There was a lot of people on there with their stories and overcoming, a lot of cancer things, a lot of stuff that people have had in their life that they just overcame and all that. Just, staring it in the face and just making it happen and not being scared. I would say that that's a Titan.
Yeah.
Whether or not you win, like just stepping up and doing it.
Yeah.
People win and lose. It happens. Go.
Right.
If you lost, go try harder.
Oh, I like that.
It was cool standing there though. I remember right before when they were introducing the event that I was doing and I was getting ready to go, it was just a playback of, okay, you've done this. This is going to help you here. You've done this. This is going to help you here. And I remember just standing there, just smiling like, cool, I'm ready. Let's do this. And I know that that's what I've done before, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. And the Titan Games was powerful. It was strength. It was amazing. And I was high after it. Like, it was just my jam. I loved it. And so I'm not going to probably look back on something forward from here in my life and say, oh, the Titan Games helped me do this. I think it's already there, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, just in everything that you do, like you're saying, you don't be scared, just go try harder, being prepared for the opportunities before they even present themselves, before you even know their name, know what they are going to be, just being prepared. And so having the ability to stand there and smile because you knew you were ready no matter what was coming. You had already life experiences that had set you up for success in that arena.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. It looked cool. It looked pretty cool from watching it. So yeah, that it is awesome. And too, you're the competitions that you've been a part of. That's the lumberjack sports. That's so cool too. And it really does uniquely prepare you for really any athletic competition. Just being in that state of preparedness and different, doing different skills and having different things that you're able to, cutting wood or sawing wood, running on a log, all of those things prepare you in different ways for pretty much anything that could be thrown your way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And just being an athlete of any sport.
Yeah.
When you hear the go or the buzzer, just being able to control yourself and who your abilities at that point in time is huge compared to people who you hear go and then you just have these adrenaline rushes. If you can't control that, you're going to be in trouble. But once you get to a point of where you can control that and just who you are and all of the training and everything that goes into that point in time, no matter what sport it is, I think that's going to set you up for a lot of things in life.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Erin, with all of these incredible things that you've gone after and achieved and are working towards still, I just have one final question. What do you want to be remembered for?
Just making it happen.
Yeah.
Just standing there and getting it done, whatever it is.
I love that. It's simple, but it's truly a testament to the way that you live your life and every opportunity and everything that has come up.
Fearless.
Yes.
Just be fearless. Be smart and be fearless.
Yeah.
That's what I like to tell myself every day, and that's kind of what I live by.
Thank you all for tuning in to today's installment of the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. To learn more about each of these Titan athletes, be sure to check out their information in the links in my show notes. Furthermore, to stay up to date on all things coming out of the Keep Moving Forward Creators Studio, be sure to subscribe to the Keep Moving Forward podcast iTunes channel and follow along on social media, also available in the show notes. As the creator of the Titan Games, Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, "Titans aren't born, they're made." And I hope today's story helped you realize all that you are capable of becoming if you put in that hard work and just keep moving forward.